Welcome everybody, it's Seb Drummo, and this is Social Selling TV. And today's guest is Brian G. Johnson. And I met you, gosh, a couple of years ago in Denver at Ken
Yeah,
McCarthy event.
yeah, that was a shenanigans event.
Yes.
That was good. It was really nice to meet you. Kevin was there, mutual friend. Got to hang out, and it's so nice to be able to put a face to an avatar on Facebook or LinkedIn.
We meet our virtual friends in person.
Yeah, exactly.
So people, I want to know if you're using YouTube for your business right now, type yes in the chat window. I'd love to see how many people actually are. Because I've been using YouTube on and off for years, and I've seen incredible value, and for some reason I get the bright shiny object syndrome and drift away from it. That's just I read Brian's book. I watched you last year go through your journey, and why don't you tell us about why you embraced YouTube last year and the results you've gotten?
Well, again, Ted, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And for me, I've always been really fascinated by the opportunity that every one of us has to have an impact on people, to inspire people, whether we want to make money with business or if we're passionate about a cause, getting a message out to the world, whatever it is, we have that opportunity today. And it's a big deal. And I'm so grateful that I live in an era. I just, you know, if I think if I was born like 30 or 40 years ago, I would have been stuck being a chef. I have a culinary degree. I was a chef for 20 years. I love to cook, but I got to tell you, being able to do this is so fun. And for me, Ted, I kind of gravitated towards video. For one reason, I've used video for a long time, and I think a lot of us have. Here we are, we're on video right now. We do the live streaming is a big deal. YouTube's been around, but I never really took it serious. And I thought, you know, what if you really applied yourself on YouTube? What would you be able to accomplish? What would you be able to achieve? And it's really been such an exciting ride. So that's kind of how it began. Oh, and since the other hook is Trust Funnel. So I was kind of finished up on launching my book Trust Funnel, and I thought, you know, what should I do? And that kind of led me to do the YouTube. And then I kind of decided, well, I'll write a book about the process, which was kind of very hard because it was kind of me like saying, hey, I'm going to get these results. I'm going to be a big shot.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done it yet.
Nothing like putting yourself out there on the ledge.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I started using YouTube years ago. I was doing online marketing for a software company, and we had some like demo videos of the software. I started putting on YouTube, and we're getting thousands of views.
Yeah, yeah, isn't that amazing?
And I started running ads for like a penny a click, 2 cents a click back, you know, about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. It is very cool. And for me, one of the things that I find interesting is that YouTube is really the only platform that combines a heavily search-driven algorithm with a social feed. So you can go to Facebook and people can follow you, and as more and more people follow you, you're going to build things up. But the thing that's really interesting to me is the fact that YouTube is powered by an algorithm that is driven by these search metrics. When you enter in your video title, the tags, and so on. And when I got started, Ted, there wasn't a LinkedIn or a Facebook, there wasn't a Twitter or a Periscope, any of this stuff. It was SEO and Google. And that's kind of how I cut my teeth, by learning SEO, how to drive sales through affiliate marketing, digital products, Halloween costumes, movie posters, web hosting. I sold a lot of stuff because the principles are the same. And when I started thinking of all these things, it's like you're doing video, you got the SEO angle, you can build a feed, people can see how many subscribers you have. That's powerful as you grow. That's kind of how I got started for serious.
Yeah, well, YouTube and SEO go hand in hand, because you optimize your videos the same way you do your website.
I think so, but there's a huge difference, and I think most people, when they first think about it, they don't realize the direct impact that viewers have on their channel. And you can have great SEO, you can have great video title, meta tags, but if people really aren't watching, you're not going to grow.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you know, where we're at today. It's the same way on Google. If you've got, you might get a trick or something you use for a few days or a few weeks or something. Those are coming along fewer and fewer. I think, in fact, we're pretty much done. But if people really don't like the content, you're not going to win long term. So
what's the, how long? I hear like videos should be really short or they should be long. What's the right length for a video?
Well, it's interesting. Let me do this. Let me show you this. This is kind of fun. I happen to have published a video yesterday, and I'll tell you about what the subject was. And I want to show you the thumbnail because there's a myth. There's a lot of myths out there today, and the myth is that longer videos rank really well on YouTube. And it can be true, but a more accurate picture is that YouTube is looking at how many minutes of watch time a video gets per impression. So in other words, if YouTube shows a video on the home page, YouTube is split testing that video against other videos to determine which video is going to generate more watch time. So you can publish a 10-minute video, but if people only watch it for 2 minutes, you're going to get 2 minutes of watch time for that view. And furthermore, the other thing you have to take into consideration is if you've got a title and a thumbnail that don't drive a lot of clicks, that's going to hurt you. So my whole video yesterday was about the power of crafting a powerful video title with a powerful, intriguing thumbnail that drives more clicks, and then just being aware of the fact that it's not necessarily a long video, it's how long somebody watches your video. So for me, one of the things I've done is, man, I look at the journey I've had over the last 14 months or so on YouTube. And what I did 14, 15 months ago is very different than what I do today. I'm publishing 5-minute videos. They're pretty snappy, you know, they move along, they get you to the meat that you're after pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I try to deliver on usually one big idea, and then I recommend another video as I move forward. And that recipe works good because I'm getting clicks, I've got intriguing thumbnails, intriguing video titles. People are watching most of the video, so I'm getting maybe a 3 to 4 minute average view duration. And all these things together is what really dictates, you know, how long a video should be. It's complicated.
Well, one of the things I learned from you is that thumbnail, how important that is.
Well, again, if we keep talking about this, the power of a good thumbnail, and we really realize that YouTube is looking down to the impression. If they show your video 100 times to 100 people and you get 1 click, and that click the viewer watches for 2 minutes, then you get 2 minutes of watch time per 100 clicks. Now, if you publish a thumbnail that drives a lot of clicks, even just the same amount of watch time, you're gonna rise in suggested videos, you're gonna rise in search, because you're just ultimately feeding the algorithm more of what it wants, and it's hungry for minutes watched.
Yeah, so don't just use the random one YouTube suggests that's a clip of your video. Create your own.
You know, one of the things that I did, Ted, when I wrote, it's like I always want to turn and look here. I have a stack of my book Trust Funnel over here, and I sit my iPad on it when I'm filming videos. So my books have become a stacking device.
There we go.
I bet you can relate. I bet you've got a stack of books somewhere, Ted.
Oh, no, not right over here on my desk. No.
And what was the question?
Oh, the thumbnails. And what do you use to create the thumbnails?
Oh, yeah. When I was writing Trust Funnel, I just kind of like, I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I'm not that smart. I'm like, I look at what the successful people do and I duplicate it. And I noticed all these fancy pants authors had these great photos. I thought, well, it's probably not that hard. I probably just like find a photographer here in town, pay a couple $100, go get some pictures taken. And I did that, and I use a lot of those pictures in my social media, and I also use them in my thumbnails, and it's easy. And you know, a lot of times people have this idea of they're not incredibly good looking enough. You know, they don't
Right.
have a persona, or they're not a model, or they're not a male model, a good looking dude or a woman. And I think it's more about allowing people to get to know you is really what matters. And if you just try to, you know, create an interesting picture, we're all pretty interesting as human beings, and it's not about being, you know, incredibly good looking. So
Well, it's a continuation of your brand too. I noticed that you came up with a standard layout for your thumbnails. They have a consistent color, same fonts.
you know, and I do that because to me, branding is really about making it easy for people to recognize you and remember. You know, if you think about some of the big companies today, if I say, let me choose one here. M&Ms, they melt in your mouth. This is where you finish it off, Ted.
Not in your hand. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And if I say Nike, you know, we all think just do it.
Just
And
do it.
Apple, think different. And these are all very simple
Yeah.
slogans. They're not fancy, they're not complicated, they're not computer geek speak. And it's really about just trying to make it easy for people to understand why your brand is awesome and they should pay attention. So part of that is just repeating stuff, because if you repeat it enough, it's easier to remember. So yeah, it took me a while to find that thumbnail style. You know, that was part of my journey, and I continue to test and tweak and improve and look at things that I can do, and it's just part of that evolution.
If it gets more clicks, do more of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I just filmed 3 videos, and one of them was about the elevation or evolution. Let's call it the evolution of clickbait. And I think clickbait is got this negative connotation to it, and people associate it with stuff that's bad. But there's also a lot of good properties about clickbait. And at the end of the day, you know, clickbait drives a lot of views on articles. It drives a lot of video views, but people hate it because they feel tricked. They feel like they were duped into clicking something, and they don't leave feeling as if their wants and needs were met. You know, the article hints at some big idea, and they don't leave feeling like they got the information they were after. But if you can create a really enticing title and thumbnail, and you can have a great looking thumbnail, and it intrigues someone to click, and you deliver, you honor the viewer, man, that's a recipe for success. So I'm kind of talking about clickbait 2.0 and how to like take the positive and take that to a good place.
Yeah, we've all seen those. Some picture got your attention, think, oh, I want to read this.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the article. And you feel totally deceived.
Like 7 deadly things that are in your home that could kill you.
Right. So what tool do you use to create your banners, your images?
I actually use a $2, $3, and $10 app on my iPad. So I am pretty high tech. I make my thumbnails on an app called Pixel Matter. It's very simple. And you know, the more I've done it, the more I've been able to really create great looking stuff. And it's really, it's less about the tools, and I think more about just kind of having an eye for it and being able to like understand how certain things work. And less is more. One of the things I teach clients and people that I work is, you know, instead of trying to get all the words in your title on your thumbnail, you don't need to do that. You can take a couple words and get those on your thumbnail. And because you've got less, you can make them bigger. And that works great. Yeah, the apps are absolutely amazing. You know, like WordSwag, I started with that, and I did some stuff with WordSwag. And then I kept finding these similar apps to WordSwag. WordSwag got copied because it was a great idea. And then I found a graphics program called Pixel Matter. And Pixel Matter is more of a full-featured photo editing app, and it allows you to crop and resize and I've got an Apple Pencil, so I can kind of do little kind of drawing on edges, nothing fancy, but you know, some stuff that gives it more of an artistic kind of a look, which is fun, and which is kind of what my brand is about. I'm trying to convey fun, and we take what we do seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously, and that's kind of always been my brand.
Well, that's what I like about your videos. They're always entertaining, but you're teaching really incredible stuff.
You know, and I've really dialed back a lot of that. Like when I started out of the gate, I was so over the top, Ted, and that a lot it worked, but there were a lot of people that it didn't work for. So I had an audience that loved it, but the more I started moving forward, the more I started thinking, you know, maybe it's not a troll. Maybe there's a lot of real good feedback here, and maybe I need to dial things down and really, again, honor the viewer. And the more I've done that, the better my results have been. So I think it's really about finding that place. You know, I think a lot of us take ourselves so seriously and we don't loosen up. And I kind of went the polar opposite, and I went off the deep end. And that wasn't right either. You know, someone that's looking for Apple branding, they're not looking for an episode of Steve Martin Comedy Hour. They're looking for branding advice. So it's kind of like balancing that out.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be fun and teach great stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, I think it's relatable too, rather than, you know, just a real stuffy kind of a video or whatnot. Like when you just let your hair down a little bit, which.
Your hair's looking pretty calm today too.
Well, you know, you never know. It's probably time for another haircut.
Yeah, your other videos, you have the crazy hair.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is you always have the subscribe sign you hold up, like telling people, tell them exactly what to do. Subscribe to my channel.
Yeah.
They don't.
You know, it's super powerful. And a lot of the people that I've worked with, peers, people that I network with, we've tested this out, and the difference is night and day. And not just telling people to subscribe, but doing it in the right way, doing it at the right time, knowing when to shut up, and knowing how to condense things down. I actually incorporate 2 calls to action in every video. One is at not the beginning of the video, but around maybe the 22nd point of the video. So I'll start off a video and I'll hook the viewer. The goal is to really deliver on what the thumbnail and the video title promises. So ultimately, when you're creating a video, your goal is to deliver content in a way that inspires people to act. You know, if you can do that, you're on the right track. And the video title and the thumbnail is going to ultimately create a promise to people. So in the beginning of my video, I always want to get right to that. Like, check out this Google document. Wow, it's got this great information on how the algorithm really works, and we're going to talk about it in this video. So that's my hook, you know. And then after that, I'll go into a call to action, and it's the same call to action. And by creating a value proposition around your brand. So my brand is stake your claim, amplify your message, or amplify your video. And that's pretty much what I mentioned in my call to action. And on YouTube, I mentioned if you want to not only upload, but amplify your videos, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification, and you won't miss anything. And by taking the time to really figure that out myself, so that's kind of like my just do it, or melts in your mouth, not in your hand. By taking the time to do that, the more you repeat it, the easier it is for other people to remember. And one of the things I always say is, you know, people aren't going to work hard to try to understand why what you have is awesome. So the more work we do to make it easier for our potential audience, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah. One of my first internet marketing mentors would say, you take them by the hand and you walk them to exactly where you want them to go and tell them exactly what to do. Click here.
Yeah, exactly. And the more you spell it out and show them and tell them, and boy, it sure has a big impact though, because not everyone knows to subscribe to a YouTube channel. You know, someone might be they're looking for a video, they're super busy, they're distracted. And if your video comes off in the right way and you connect with that person, if you tell them, there's a far better chance they will subscribe. And that's just a better thing for you moving forward.
Yeah. I like the way you create a series of teachings too. You teach part one and they say, in the next video, I'll teach you how to. It's like step 2 of the process.
Yeah, actually, I'm doing that now. I mentioned the clickbait 2.0, and I don't think I mentioned it's a 2-part, but maybe I'll put some text in the video. You know, one of the things that I've learned about video is that what we have in our head often exceeds what we're able to produce. And I think that stops a lot of people. You know, you've got to have the ability to be willing to be where you are, to learn along the way. And I was just thinking, you know, hey, mention this will be a 2-part video, and I didn't. But that's okay, because I'm still getting results and I'm moving forward. So
you make mistakes? I can't believe it.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It's that worst thing you do. You pull down the video, right? If you made a mistake, you'd redo it.
You know, in one of the things I mention a lot is, like, we're not brain surgeons. Like, nobody's going to die on the table. Like, you know, guys like you and me, Ted, we write books, we post on social media. It's not rocket science. You know, no one's going to die on the table. And I think sometimes, you know, we're emotional creatures. You know, this is an emotional journey, and we are so afraid of, like, putting ourselves out there and it's not perfect, when in reality, people often buy from those they know and like and trust. And part of that is just allowing people to get to know who you really are, you know?
Yeah. You're a lot like me. Like, when you start doing these videos, like, you're kind of a behind the scenes guy for years doing affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're making videos and putting yourself out there. It's like, whoa, this is big.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly, I don't know how you know that, but, you know, I was behind the scenes for many, many years, and I still am really like that. It's weird. Like, I can go to a party and I'm totally comfortable and I enjoy it, but I'm more of, like, I like to be in my own quiet home, and I like to be writing my books or working on my videos, and that's just kind of how I am. And it is kind of a journey when you go from that to teaching and sharing, and you're more in the public eye, and it can be overwhelming when you first step into it. But I think when you do that, you kind of overcome that. You know, it's a fear a lot of people have, but by crossing that fear, by walking through that fire, oftentimes it's like, you know, it wasn't really that bad. And you get a little bit more comfortable. And there's this, I'm trying to think of this book, Ted. It's, I can't remember the name. The book basically talks about principles that we go through in life, successful people, and how that successful people often do the thing that's uncomfortable early. So if speaking on stage is uncomfortable, but you want to do it, if you don't do it, it's always uncomfortable.
Right.
And then you start getting full of regret, you know. But if you do it, all of a sudden, 5 years later, you are comfortable on stage because you did it. And the more you put yourself in that uncomfortable position, the more you achieve, because, you know, success isn't always easy. It's just about being willing to do that uncomfortable thing. Oh, and right. It's interesting. There's this diagram in the book. So you see this one arrow and it's going up, and it's like successful people, they're uncomfortable. And then there's another arrow and it's like going down, and it says it's the opposite. Unsuccessful people are comfortable early, but over time they become uncomfortable. Like, I like to play video games. I play maybe an hour and a half of video games 4 or 5 days a week. And it's a great release. I get to, like, take a break, decompress. But it's like, if I do that every day for 6 hours a day, it'll be fun in the beginning. But by about month 6,
yeah, right.
I'm going to be a basket case in here. Like, maybe you should do something with your life.
Well, today's guest is Brian G. Johnson. If you have questions for him, put it in the chat. I'm sure you have lots of questions. And what I notice about you, your consistency. You're always posting new videos. You're always interacting with your Facebook group. And what is your Facebook group, by the way?
Oh, yeah. It's Tube Ritual. Everything is Tube Ritual.
Hey, a brand. Whoa.
Yeah, imagine that. So the group is called Tube Ritual, and I actually launched it. Great question, Leanne. I'll talk about video editing apps in just a moment because there are a bunch of them. I thought, I should just create a group because I'm going to go through this journey and I kind of want to document it more for me. And if people are interested, cool, they can follow along. And now it's like really become an asset. It's over, I think it's at 4,500 users. So there's a lot of people in there. And so that's pretty cool.
Awesome group. Definitely join that group.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool people in there, and what's neat about it is it's not just everyone posting their videos. It's like there's a discussion going on, and we're supporting, helping. But staying consistent is how you get results. And it's cool to be excited about the new shiny thing, but if it's always that, you never really get on with it. Like sooner or later, you wake up and it's like it becomes real. Like going through a journey of writing a book or growing a channel to 10,000 subscribers, you reach a point where it's like, man, this takes effort. And what I found is just, consistency day after day, it really adds up. And especially, what's cool about that too, Ted, is the more you do anything, the better you get, and the more you stay focused. Like when I talk to my coaching clients, I'm like, who was that guy that was in the Olympics last summer? That swimmer guy that won all the medals.
Yeah.
What's his name? And I usually joke, but I can't think of the guy's name. Now I keep wanting to say Mark Spitz because he was a while ago.
He's like 25 years ago.
Who was that swimmer last year?
I'm drawing a blank too.
Oh, anybody? Someone help us. Someone save us, please.
The most gold medals in history.
Thank you. Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Remember when Michael Phelps ran in the hurdles? Wasn't that great? And they look at me and they're like, huh? They're like, oh, no. And I'm like, yeah, he swims. That's what he does. Like he swims. And it's like he swims and he trains and he swims. And like the more you do anything, the better you get at it. And
the algorithm rewards you for consistency.
Oh, huge. And especially, like I said, for me, there's something about algorithms that are search powered, like Google and like YouTube. And I find it so fascinating to break them down and really understand. And when you are consistent and you're really trying to understand what the algorithm is going to reward, man, you can grow fast, And for me, I'm actually publishing a little bit less than I was 6 or 9 months ago, and I'm growing faster because I'm really creating an audience. I'm focused on their needs. I'm tweaking the thumbnails. I'm doing all the stuff, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Someone asked, it was Leanne asked about video editing apps. I actually have a folder. I use iMovie quite a bit that's obviously Apple, so iPhone, iPad. It's an amazing app, very powerful. And for most marketers, you don't need to get super fancy with the DSLR camera. And I look over here and, oh, Ted, I've got so many. Right now I'm using this. This is a Sony A6300. And that was my third camera in a year. I started with the Canon 70D. And for some reason, I created a new backdrop, and the Canon kind of added these artifact pink colors to my lighting. And I talked to some of my YouTuber friends, and they had the same thing. So then I was about to buy a pocket camera, so I got a Sony RX100, which is like $1,000 pocket camera, does video, and that was super. But it started overheating, so then I went and got. But the thing is like the camera in this device right here is so good, and for creating very simple videos, you can create great videos. I'm going to grab this too. This is a Shure MV88, and it's about $150, which is very expensive, but it'll greatly improve the quality of the sound in your videos, which is important. It's great for live streaming too. So if you live stream on Facebook, you can plug this into your phone, and you're going to have a better audio signal, which is cool. I've edited a ton of really great videos that have done super well on my iPad. That's one of the apps I use. I'll actually go into my folder here. We've got the movie studio. Another app that you might want to check out, Leanne, is called Intro Mate. So you've seen the like little intros that people have. Well, Intro Mate has got these pre-designed intros already done, and literally there's sound effects, video effects, and you type in the text that you want. So it's perfect. I've actually used that quite a bit. Videorama is another app that's pretty darn good. Pinnacle Studio, they actually have a full-featured desktop software editing suite, and they've come out with a mobile editing suite probably 3 or 4 years ago. And Pinnacle Pro, it's called, is great. It's a little bit more technical. I find iMovie simple, intuitive, and it's got enough for me. So those are 3 or 4 apps that you might want to check out.
That's great. I use Camtasia. I've been using it from the beginning. It does the job.
Yeah, Camtasia is a great editor, and it's really, a lot of people get hung up on the tech, and it's not the tech. It's not. It's what you do with it. But that being said, when we're starting out, it's good to know like what tools to use and whatnot. So
right, yeah. So you built a nice studio at home, and you got all kinds of nice toys, but you started with nothing, right? Literally your phone.
And what's interesting is you say studio, and I think, yeah, absolutely I do. But I mean, literally, I've got some bookshelves. Like if we go like this, I was filming, so I've got like my lights on right now, and like none of that stuff is really that fancy. Like up top over here, I've got some like box set album covers from like Chess Records, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Prince, and I got business books. I got some of my own books. I got a few signs, so it's not like really expensive, and it's already in my home. Like I already had bookshelves. I spent a whole whopping $35 on some colored lights. So you can actually go pretty far with a little bit, and over time as you grow, you can add more layers and buy 5 cameras and.
Right. Yeah. Once you're into it, don't go out and buy $1,000 camera to start.
Yeah. Definitely don't do that.
So if anybody has questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. I have a question for you. Now, we live in this world where if I want to talk to you, I wouldn't pick up the phone and call you. I would like schedule time with you. Everything you call your best friend, you say, hey, you have time to talk next Tuesday at 7.
Yeah, that's about it.
But then we have this live video thing where people will drop everything to watch a live video on YouTube or Facebook. What's up with that?
I think people are really intrigued, and they become, what's the word? Reality TV. Think about reality TV. It's the production. The draw is not the production value. It's we become vested in these people we get to know, and we want to know how the story is going to continue. And one of the great things about social media, and if you really look at people that do it well, they do this so well, is it's an evolving story that never ends. It's always updating. When I do books, I tell people, I'm going to write an awesome book. Like it fuels me, it puts a fire under my butt, and then people want to follow along. And I think, leveraging these tools like live streaming gives us a way to connect and like tell people like, hey, check this out. I just got these proofs back from my publisher, and I've got a few cover concepts, and I'd love to get your feedback. Or it could be as simple as I'm on vacation in Maui, and you should check out the sunset. Like people want to follow and stay in the loop, and live video is so great for that.
It's about the stories, I think, like you said. You said, I'm going to write this book, and I'm going to share every step of the journey, and you did.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It always works too. What's really interesting is like when I launched Trust Funnel, my book was shared by hundreds and hundreds of people based on kind of just telling a story. I didn't try to sell. In fact, I started telling the story. There was no book. I hadn't even written it yet. But by the time I got to the end, there were so many people that were vested in the journey. They wanted to see how it played out, and they were all rooting for me, and then I did it with 2 Ritual, and the same thing happened again. So.
And it's like you're not making millions off the books, but you've become this person that everybody trusts, and now you're getting clients that come to you without really even marketing because you're just being yourself.
It's absolutely amazing. I think in the last 10 days, I picked up 3 coaching clients, and I never really sell. Like I haven't mentioned you should hire me as a coach right now. Like,
I'm on your email list. You never promote yourself.
yeah, I don't have to though. Like, people reach out to me, and this is like, I think when you start walking the walk and you establish and you're doing the thing that people want to do, like, you don't have to be a sales genius. Thank goodness, because I ain't.
Right. Exactly. It's already sold when they call you. So Christine wants to know, what's the top 5 things to include in a video to increase views, thumbnail, title, etc.?
So in the beginning, I think it really depends on where each creator is. Here's the simple version. It's really important to take a look at what your market is responding to. You want to have a pulse on the market. You want to understand what's going to trigger them to click on your video. So having that information, understanding what's driving your market is very powerful. Ted mentioned live video. That's a great example. That's a topic that is going to be interesting to people. And for me, especially if, let's say, Twitter came out with like a new live streaming kind of functionality, that would be something people are interested. For me, even more so, if YouTube, and this was a great example, when YouTube came out with live streaming, first it was in beta, and I'm talking about mobile live streaming. It was in beta, and you had to have 10,000 subscribers to live stream.
Yeah.
So for me, I got the 10,000 subscribers. The next morning, live streaming functionality was on my phone, and it was new for everybody on YouTube, because not everybody is going live, because you got to have 10,000 subscribers. So I started going live, and I had a lot of people show up. So being aware of the topical topics and leveraging topical subjects is very powerful. The second would be the thumbnail and taking the time to craft a brand. A lot of times people are like, make me a great logo. They go to a designer and they're like, can you make me a pretty logo or a bold logo? That's actually heading in the right direction. What you don't want to do is like ask a designer to create a cool logo. Like, what is your logo trying to convey? Mine is like motion, fun, energetic. That's my whole like beat of Brian G. Johnson kind of splat. It comes in.
Yeah.
It's in my intro. And the more you can really think about like, what is it that makes your brand unique, and you can put that into a thumbnail, then as people see it again and again, it's easy for them to spot your videos. They're going to want to watch your videos. So very powerful. The third thing would be and again, all of these things work together. So I talked first about being topical. The third thing I would talk about is, again, understanding not only the topics, but the exact search terms people are using, and to include those in your video title. The more your video title is dialed in to exactly how a person is searching, the easier it is for you to drive views. In fact, Ted, you can attest to this.
Yeah, the LinkedIn, like if I have a video on LinkedIn profile tips, I'll put that as a title.
You did a video about 9 months ago, and it was when who acquired LinkedIn?
Microsoft acquired LinkedIn, yes.
Remember that case study? And you and you basically followed the blueprint I had for the exact match title, and you were ranking, like there were millions of video results, and I think you were in the top 5 or something.
I was like number 2 for a long time.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And did that video do pretty okay for you, or?
Yeah, it's like I was just goofing around with stuff you were teaching.
Well, when I think about it too, it's like one of the things I said was be topical, and that video was. LinkedIn was acquired by Microsoft. Yeah. Then you leverage step 3, which is to really pay attention to the search terms. And when you do that, it's pretty easy. You see a search term in the search bar, you put it in your video title. And by doing that, a lot of people don't know this, but if you go to YouTube and you search for something, you'll see all the video results. Underneath, there's a little teeny button, and it says filters. And if you click that, it opens up, and then you'll see videos sorted by. And at the top, it says relevancy. And that's the default. So basically, nobody clicks that little button that says filters, especially users. They don't care. They're just like on YouTube.
Right.
So when you start understanding how people are searching, that's super powerful. The other thing I would say is to leverage playlists. And this is powerful for a number of reasons. One of the things you want to do in building a successful channel is you want to gain subscribers and you want them to watch your future videos. So if Ted were to create a series solely on, let's say, is Pulse still a thing in LinkedIn, or is that done now?
It's there, but it's really hard to find.
So like what would be a part of LinkedIn that you could create, let's say 5 videos on?
Really, your LinkedIn profile would be.
So if Ted were to create a 5 video series on optimizing your LinkedIn profile, it becomes very, very powerful, because what happens is he publishes the first video, it drives views, they like his style, they like the teaching, and they subscribe. They subscribed because they're interested in the LinkedIn profile. He uploads a second video, it covers the same topic. Now, you know, Ted, when I say this, it's so simple and easy to understand, and so many people don't do it. They cover a gamut of subjects, and they wonder why they struggle, because you just published a vlog and someone subscribed because they love your Italian cooking videos. They subscribed for Italian cooking lessons, and today you're talking about a new game you love. And the more you're all over the board, the less likely you're going to get that viewer or that subscriber to watch your next video. So a lot of people have said, you know, it seems so limiting, or like you have to sacrifice. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But that's Michael Phelps. He's a swimmer. He stays in his lane. He's not, could you imagine him trying to run the hurdles? He'd probably have a snorkel on. He'd be out there, you know, where's the water?
Well, that's when my business changed, when I focused on LinkedIn 100%. I still do marketing and other stuff, but.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, being known for something is really powerful. And for me, when I did Trust Funnel, Ted, that was me talking about affiliate marketing and everything I had done. And after that, I'm like, I'm going to focus more on video. I'm going to really make that a big part of what I do, so people can, you know, it's easy for them to understand how I can help them. And boy, I mean, I actually have client deals, like companies coming to me, and I've turned them down more than I've accepted, just because business is good. I've got coaching clients. I'm releasing my own products in the future. I'm doing this thing, and it's because I have sacrificed. So I think that's 4. And the 5th one, what would be another powerful? Oh, the 5th strategy would be to really study your videos and to pay attention to the analytics, which can be overwhelming, but you don't have to learn it all. You look at audience retention. Nothing is more powerful. You look at how long someone watches your video, and you do that on each video upload. And as you upload more videos, you're going to learn what works, what doesn't, what topics they did like, what they didn't. You do what works, you let go of what didn't, and you move forward. And poof, pixie dust.
So how important is the summary and tags in your videos?
So the description is not that important for YouTube. However, Google is my #1 external source. So in fact, I'm going to give you the stats on this. I find this very interesting. So many YouTubers, people that I work with and coach, they want to know, like, how to use social media. And the truth of the matter is, if I go into discovery, you can see here, over the last 28 days, 35% of my views are driven by search. 27% of my views are driven by suggested videos. So those are the videos in the sidebar. 17% are browse. That's the homepage. And you keep going, like you go way down, and then you get to, what is it? Is it external? Yeah, external. 4.3% is external. Not a lot, not a lot. And if we look at external, 48% is Google. Facebook is 13%. So Facebook is probably 1% of my views, and Google is probably 2 or 3% of my views. So that I find that very, very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, the analytics, don't be overwhelmed by them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just See what's working, do more of it. If it's
Yeah,
not working,
absolutely.
do less of it. It's not rocket science, like you said.
It's not. I think we just have to like understand that we don't have to know all of it all at once. And if you focus on what's most important, like if you're overwhelmed with all the settings on a camera, then use your phone
Yeah.
and publish a video. And then you can worry about the camera another day.
People don't need studio quality videos. They just want to see great information.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And like I said, you know, you can do so much, like a cheap pair of lights, or knowing that, you know, I've got to be aware of where the lighting is. I can be in front of a window and get natural light. Like right now, I don't have any lights on. It's really interesting too. If I go to I'm using a Logitech webcam. I bet you are too, Ted.
Yep.
And the quality is great, and I don't have to get all fancy. It's just, you know, knowing what gear to use and just starting slow and adding on over time is so very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't spend a lot of money. You don't need to.
You don't have to in the beginning. We like to. It's fun, but it's absolutely not necessary, you know? And you know, if we're really honest, the most important thing is how people deliver on video. And it scares people because they're like, I don't deliver very well. But when you are willing to try and you put yourself in that place, you're going to get better. And furthermore, if you're just so terrified, you can still do well. Do a voiceover, use some pictures, and you can still leverage the power of video.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just want to teach something and keep your channel focused. Like I don't post other kind of videos on mine. I just do LinkedIn training on my channel.
Yeah, there you go.
And one of the things I noticed, if I search YouTube for like certain LinkedIn tips,
yeah,
videos from 5 to 7 years ago come up as number 1 and 2 still sometimes. So,
you know, one of the things that saddens me is people get really excited about growing a channel and their expectations are so blown out of whack. And the fact of the matter is the YouTube algorithm rewards videos slowly over time, and videos can rank for years and years. That's great for people that have been around for years and years, but it's not so great for someone starting out. Now, if you are realistic with your expectations and you hang in there and you focus on creating good videos, by the time you get to 6 months, you're going to be surprised. If you search for Apple branding, you'll find my videos number 1. If you look at the results, like you said, Ted, there are videos by Simon Sinek that are 4, 6 years old. There's one video in the top 10 results that was published in 2007. That's 10 years ago. And if you think about, like, what if I published a video a week, every week for the next 3 years? That would be like 150 videos, and you would create something very powerful. It's another one of the reasons I focused on YouTube, because I saw the potential and the longevity of the platform. Like, you post a video on Facebook and you've got 12 hours and you're not getting any more views. It's over. It's so fast.
yeah.
But on YouTube, and you know, the videos show up on Google, so pretty exciting stuff.
It's a win-win, that's for sure. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Here we go. Here's from Kevin. How do you get your content you use for your material each week, or what process do you use to get in-depth information?
You know, I'm going to share a hint that I've just kind of dreamt up because I watch a lot of people. And what I see some people doing that's super smart is don't try to research it all, because there are so many fantastic articles already available. You take the ones that have done well. Go to a big website that's in your niche and look at the articles that have driven more views, and take that and just spend maybe 30 minutes highlighting a few points and then talk about those points. You can link to the article in your video. It's totally ethical. All you're doing is you're using the research that's already been done, and it'll save you a great amount of time. For me, as I do more and more talking about video, I've got my own ideas now, so it's even easier. But that's such a great way to get started. And it's funny, Ted, it reminds me of when I taught people how to make money self-publishing. And my whole thing was, we've got to find something that's simple and easy so we can do it. Because a lot of times people think, oh, I got to write a book, it's going to be a big deal. And I thought, like, how can we figure this out? What's easy? And I thought, well, picture books for kids My kids can't read. They don't want 10,000 words. They don't want 1,000 words. They want a picture of a giraffe at the zoo. And on the next page, it's a dolphin with a sentence. And I taught people like how to go to Wikipedia and find an article on like dolphins or something and make a child's book about dolphins. And you use the research already available, and it applies to video too.
I did the same thing when I wrote my LinkedIn books. I'd never written a book. How do I write a book?
Yeah.
I went to Amazon, found the top 5 selling books on LinkedIn and bought them and read them.
Yeah.
Documented what they covered, what they didn't cover.
Yeah. It's such a great way.
I went to LinkedIn and kind of went through their help and just kind of went through all the stuff and wrote the book.
You know, I love that. And I think a lot of times we get these ideas like, oh, I've got to have all this expertise, but you don't. I mean, if you really break it down, nobody shows up on your door when you decide to write a book. It says, oh, you don't have the credentials, Mr. Johnson.
Right.
You can do whatever you want to do. You know, it doesn't mean you can just put out something shoddy. Like, I put a lot of time into this, and I think that's having that focus again. But when you do all of these things, it just kind of works out. You know, you end up writing a pretty good book. It helps grow your business.
It's a great calling card. You hand people your books.
Yeah, like I said, like when my book came out, I got probably 5 to 8 clients like that, you know. Right. So it was pretty cool.
Well, great. This has been awesome. So what's your Facebook group again? The
Facebook group is just like the book, Tube Ritual. And lots of cool people there. And if anybody wants to drop by and say hello, become a member, if you've got questions, I'll be there to answer.
And what's your website so I can get on your email list?
BrianGJohnson.tv.
That's awesome. Definitely connect with Brian because he's awesome. Great guy, full of great information.
Ted, thank you so much for having me. I was really excited. I'll be honest, sometimes I get people requesting for me to be on their show, and it's not that I don't want to, but I just really value my time. But I love what you do, Ted, and I wanted to connect with you again and spend some time. So it was nice just to hang out with you and all the great people here. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for sharing all this great information. It's just the tip of the iceberg. So get Brian's book, get in his Facebook group, get on his email list, and you're going to be famous on YouTube. Well, thanks everybody.
Oh, excellent. Ted, did you promote my book?
Oh, I sent out some emails with your link. Yeah.
You did not.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when you launch your next one so I can return the favor. Who just said, oh, Kevin says, purchase the book with your link, Ted. So thank you for that. And I'm glad you found it helpful. It's always such a pleasure to be able to help people move forward. I think we're so honored to be able to do that.
No, Brian's one of the good guys. He just gives you great information. Like you said, he's not selling you anything. He just wants everybody to be really successful on YouTube.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ted. Have a nice afternoon.
See ya. For more free training, visit socialsellingminute.com.